Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Screen Sagas. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'll be talking about the show from Season 3, Episode 8, entitled Thresholds. This is my instant cast. I just finished watching. It was a great episode. It was an episode that I'm like, dang, I can't wait for the next one based on how it ended. But before we get to the ending, let's talk about some of the smaller storylines, or the storylines that I'm not as interested in, but we still need to discuss. We'll first talk about Jim. I have seen so many people talk online about how Jim is jealous of Jade and this and that, and Jade and Tabitha hooking up. And I was always like, nah, I don't see it. Jim's just an asshole. But now they may be onto something. I still think Jade is being just a good friend to Tabitha and support. He tells Jim, like, yo, she's not a kid. What do you mean she doesn't know what she's thinking? She's not a baby. She's not a child. And that's even offensive to a child. But, you can at least, use that argument with a child. But with a grown adult acting like she doesn't know what she wants to do, or she doesn't realize the decision she's making, is very condescending. And for that to be coming from her own husband makes it even worse. So I appreciate Jade kind of putting Jim in his place. On to Henry. As Henry's advice to Jim, I don't know. I see, and that's why I try to stay offline, because it's other people's opinions that's now getting in my head. Because I saw people talking about Henry can't be trusted. Henry is Victor's dad. And the only reason I was suspicious of Henry this week is because after Jade walks out and was like, F you, Jim, forget about it, Jim tells him, like, yo, I always promised I would try to be a better father than my father, a better father to my kids than my father was to me, and how his father was a drunk, and Henry's like the same. And after Jim said all that, Henry still pours Jim a shot. And I'm like, and maybe I'm overthinking it because of the feedback that I've seen online, the theories online. But I did immediately think, why would you give him alcohol then? If I'm telling you, hey, my dad was an alcoholic, I don't ever want to become that way. What's your next reason to be like, oh, well, here's a drink anyways, Nicole? Like, come on. Because it is, I don't want to say genetic, but it can get passed down to you. You've seen it so many times where the history just keeps repeating itself. I've seen it in my own family. So if someone tells me I'm scared because my mom or my dad was alcoholic, I don't ever want to touch it, I'm not going to say, nah, that won't be you. Here's some anyways. Like, so that's what made me kind of suspicious of Henry. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and maybe I wouldn't have even thought it if I hadn't seen those theories online. But we'll see where that goes. Hopefully Jim does not become a drunk, because then, unfortunately, even though alcoholism is a disease, I think he's going to end up being in the non-forgiving territory if he becomes that way. Because he's already been verbally, emotionally abusive to his family and others there. And it's just like, we can't take anymore. So hopefully he does not have a drinking problem after this. Now, speaking of being emotionally or verbally abusive, let's go to Victor. Victor is a fan favorite. We are still Team Victor. Despite what I'm about to say, he was being verbally abusive to Sarah. And I know some people may hear this and go, oh, Victor, special needs, It doesn't, he knows better. You know what I mean? He's not so far gone. And I hope I didn't use that in the wrong context. I'm not trying to be offensive. But he's not so far gone that he doesn't know basic rules and basic appropriate behaviors. And the way he was yelling at Sarah, I mean, like, damn. I was like, don't make me feel sorry for Sarah. Y'all know how I feel about Sarah. That's not going to change. But I'm sitting over here looking like, damn, Victor, why are you yelling at her like this? Like, so with his whole, when they get Tabitha and everything like else, I honestly thought, when he was saying him and his sister Eloise, because once again, the theories online, and that's why I like to go on the forums, because it's fun talking to other people who watch from. I have no one else really in my life that's watching it. Well, yeah, I do. Sorry, I do. I do have some people, but it's not like they want to talk about it all the time. And my husband hasn't even started season 3 at all, so he doesn't know what's going on. But I like going on the forums and seeing other people talk about it. It's fun and getting the theories. And I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that. Like, I don't be doing the deep dives of here's a still of a picture, see what this picture means. I don't get that deep into it. Everyone has their own little thing. But when he goes and when he's telling them that him and his sister used to play and all these theories with Eloise and Tabitha, and they're like, where did you play? What was the weather like? When Sarah's like, what was the weather like? And, you know, everything. I thought he was going to mention the Red Rocks. Like, and I was like, I'm like, that's where my head was. Like, oh my gosh, he's going to say we were playing around the rocks. Because he said she would hide and I would try to find her. And not that kid Tabitha dreams she was hiding necessarily as in playing. Is she was hiding because she was legitimately scared. But for a moment, I was like, is this going to be some weird case of Tabitha is Eloise? And that is why she has such a special connection to Victor. It didn't go that way. In the end, he was like, nope. I remember I thought she hid in the church, even though she never hides in the church. Turns out Christopher was not talking to Jasper. Doesn't mean Jasper can't talk. I hate when they were like, it's just a toy, Victor. Leave Victor alone. I'm still on Jasper may be able to talk. But he's like, oh, it wasn't Jasper that Christopher was yelling at. Now I realize I'm getting this memory because I didn't draw it. So that's how I forgot it. But now I'm getting this memory now that we're down here. It was actually the boy in white. And he was telling him all the bad shit that happened to the kids. And how the kids laid on the stones. Which remember, Jade even said the kids were laid out on the stones. And they're laid out for hope. I don't know what happened to these kids. Something horrible happened to these kids. And I don't know if that's why the town is trapping them in there. If it's some sick revenge of these kids that were something horrible done to them. But whatever the case may be, he's telling them like everything that he heard the boy in white tell Christopher and about going through the faraway tree and how to save the children. When Christopher said no, Victor told his mom what he heard, and that's why his mom went off to save the children. So I know the Fatima, Tilly, everything that's happening from last week to everything that's really been happening to Fatima for the last few episodes and everything is big. But before we get to that, I want to talk about Julie. This was a really good Julie episode. You know, she had a quick conversation with Randall. I don't know if they're just being fun and flirty or if it's really, I'm like, no, Julie. I mean, Randall's too old for her. She's a young girl anyways. I don't know. If anybody, maybe in a few years, maybe with a Kenny or somebody, just a sweet guy. She doesn't need to be with no bad boy type. But either way, she ends up talking to Randall and he doesn't want to he's not interested in any of like going back and seeing that place and everything like that. And she somehow ends up taking her brother instead, Ethan. And when she goes down there, Ethan disappears. She's now in the cave with Boyd. The biggest, oh my gosh, WTF moment was when she gets there and we see the old man, the one that put his blood inside Boyd and started the whole worm business last season. We see him talk to her. She's like, how do you know my name? He doesn't answer. He's like, throw the rope down there. I don't understand how she did not know it was Boyd. Because she's like, who's down there? Like, don't you hear Boyd talking? Don't you hear his voice? But either way, maybe it'll come to her next week. I'm very excited for that. But when it happened, I want to go back to that pod because I remember thinking, how did the old man throw that rope down to Boyd? So I love a good plot twist where it's like a not time travel necessarily, sort of. It's sort of time travel because she's doing that today. That happened to Boyd at this point weeks, maybe even potentially months ago from last season. But she's the one that throws the rope down. And then even in the next scene, when she's somehow now ends up in the caves, when the old man tells her, like, yo, you got to leave. It's not safe here. She didn't ask no questions. I'm like, smart, Julie. You don't ask no questions. When someone tells you it's safe here, just go. So when she's now in the tunnels and she can hear Victor and she can hear her mom's voice and recognizes her mom's voice and she's calling to her mom. And I'm like, damn, did Tabitha hear someone call mom when she was back in the tunnels with Victor? So I'll go back to that episode eventually and see what happened there. Even though she does not end up catching up to him because Ethan luckily ran and got help, and Kenny, and I believe it was the police officer, the lady police officer, came and helped her get her up, and she was able to come out of that trance. But that was very interesting. That was so interesting. Like, I'm excited. Like that, like I know Fatima's the big story, but no, with Julie the one throwing the rope down and her being in the caves at the same time, I want to know more. I want to know more. I don't know where my thoughts are, and I wanted to just talk about it first before going on the forums and getting confused and seeing people's theories again. But I thought that was the most interesting part of the episode to me. All right, now for Fatima. Okay, so somehow Ellis must have been able to tell his dad, because it's cut to Fatima is with Boyd. And he's like, yo, we're not going to tell anyone that you did it, because they'll never understand. They're going to be a mob. You know, everyone's mad. They're probably still hungry. They found food, but everyone's pissed. And when people are pissed, they want to hurt something. And because you saw when they finally started questioning everyone about after finding Tilly's body, everyone's like, yo, it was Sarah. Like, it was a mob was going to start. And poor Sarah, well, let's not say poor Sarah, but Sarah, you know, she didn't do this crime. And it's like, I don't know, the boy who cried wolf, like, oh, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to kill my brother. I didn't mean to do this. Now no one's going to believe you, Sarah, because you done did too much shit, even though this time you are innocent. But he tells her, Boyd tells Fatima, like, we're going to have to just let her body be found. You were with Ellis all night, or I think he tells Ellis that you and Fatima were together all night, da-da-da. And I did see theories that say, hey, now that Tilly's dead, I guess she wasn't a spy. I guess she's not secretly dangerous, blah, blah, blah. I honestly thought Tilly would have survived. I don't know why. I thought Tilly was going to survive. Like, oh, you know, she didn't probably die. Even though I guess it did look like she died last week, but I was still in denial. But two, and maybe I'm on the conspiracy train, but I just still, I don't know. I still don't trust Tilly. Like, I don't know. Like, she was not to be sick and insensitive, but she was going to die anyways pretty soon because she was sick. So I don't know if still the monsters didn't use her as a tool to cause chaos. And maybe in a few weeks, maybe next week, maybe next season, I'll be like, Nicole, you sounded crazy, still going on that Tilly is bad train. But I just have to go with my gut. And my gut still tells me that lady was up to something. Who knows what it was, what she's about. I don't know. And if she was innocent, R.I.P. Tilly. But I still feel like there's something there. So they hide Fatima in a shack. They put a talisman up. Ellis is like, I'm going to stay with her. They're looking for a place for her to stay, maybe several hours away from outside of town, because they're like, nah, people are going to go crazy. And even when Donna talks to Boyd, she's like, they don't trust you anymore. They lost faith in you. Too much shit has happened that you haven't been able to stop. Which to me, I'm like, if I was Boyd, I'm like, fuck it then. Y'all are on your own. You know what I mean? Like, I just go back to, you know, some great leaders in TV shows such as Rick Grimes, and when he had to tell his people, like, yo, there's no more democracy here, okay? I've kept y'all alive, and if you don't like it, dip. You sometimes just got to let people know, like, fine, I'm out. I'm out. Same with Jack Shepard in Lost. He was trying to help these people. Everyone complaining. I'm done. Not that he did it, but I'm done. And that's kind of what I feel like for Boyd right now, because it's like, I kept y'all safe this whole time, and now shit that's literally out of my control has happened. You don't have trust in me anymore? Okay, fuck it. Do be on your own then. That, at least that's how I feel. So with that being said, he's telling Ellis, y'all need to dip. Y'all need to stay out of town. He tells Donna what happened, because Donna's like, they ready to go get Sarah. And he's like, it wasn't Sarah. Like, chill. It was Fatima. He tells that secret so fast. It's like, maybe having secrets, don't tell anyone. And then as soon as someone puts a little pressure on them, they're like, fine, fuck it. It was Fatima. I'm like, y'all be, the secrets you should be telling people, Elgin, you keep to yourself. And the stuff that maybe you could have kept secret for longer than 12 hours, Boyd and Ellis, is, you know, Fatima killing someone and kind of getting to the background of why it's happening. Now, we see Elgin last week, the camera start popping out pictures of itself. We see it this week. even that ghost lady visits Fatima in her shack. And this time Elgin gets a picture and it's like showing the blood and dark. I honestly, when I first saw the picture, it was like blood on top, dark on the bottom or something, dark blood. Like, I guess the monster blood. And he went and get a syringe and did all this shit to, like, you know, transfer it, blood fusion on his own. Like, why? Elgin, why? Why are you doing all this on your own? Like, why don't you say, did it take a picture saying, don't tell anyone? Because I haven't seen that yet. So why haven't you told anyone anything? But either way, I honestly thought when I saw the picture, it was a way for him to, I thought he was going to do the blood fusion on Fatima. I thought, oh, okay, he has to just take that bad blood out of her, that monster blood out of her. But no, he goes and pretty much kidnaps Fatima. It sounds like he misleads her because when she first gets there, she's like, Elgin told her, hey, Ellis told me to go get you and bring you here to this room. Now, with her wanting to leave and all that, and he's saying, like, no, you still have a baby. It's just not yours. And her trying to leave, I felt so bad for her. And he looks so gentle when he's pulling her back. And he's like, I'm doing this for your good. But Elgin, this is not how you do it. She will never, ever trust you again. I can't even trust you now. I'm giving you a side eye because it's like part of me goes, Elgin's a good guy. I feel like he's up to something good. He's trying to help her. But then at the same time, it's like, I can't just dismiss you kidnapping this woman, holding her hostage, kidnapping her, holding her hostage against her will. And not only that, you lied to get her there. It's like if in any other circumstance, if it was anyone else, it was Randall or somebody else or Henry, I'd be like, you're a bad person. But I guess part of me knows a little bit about what's going on with Elgin, and I feel like he is trying to help her. But dude, you didn't explain it good. And what you should have did, and maybe there was just no time because Ellis was off with Boyd looking for a spot for him and Fatima to live now. But I don't know. He should have got someone, maybe Adana, maybe even Julie. I mean, well, she's going through some shit right now. Christy, he should have got someone that Fatima trusts to go and say, hey, I'm telling you what's going on. Can you help me move Fatima? She's in danger. You didn't have to mention anything about the Tilly, even though I don't even know if he knows that she killed Tilly, but how he handled it was wrong. And hopefully next week we see him just go get Ellis. Like, okay, I left her here. I promise you I wasn't trying to hurt her, da-da-da. But if he keeps where she's hidden a secret, because we see Elgin and Boyd get back and they don't know that where she is. If we see him keep this a secret, then Elgin, you're on my shit list. Because why now you trust the picture and whatever more than the people that you're actually living with? So, just to recap, these are the suspicious people as of right now. Tilly, still suspicious. Henry, yeah, I'm a little suspicious. You gave alcohol to someone who said they're scared to become alcoholic. That's weird. Elgin, you're suspicious, buddy. I don't trust you. Fatima, I feel so sorry for you, girl. You are a victim. I will not say shit about you, even though I have been seeing people say she's being on their nerves, and she has. She has been getting on my nerves too. But once she sort of opened up to Ellis and told him what's going on, I get it. And now her saying like, shit, something's inside me, and it made her, like, imagine if something made you kill someone and you can see it and you're trying to stop, but you don't have control of your body. Like, you would be freaking out too. So Fatima's been a character favorite or fan favorite for a while. And although, you know, she's been getting on our nerves earlier this season, she is a victim, and I stand by her until otherwise, until she becomes a monster. And if she becomes a monster, they're going to make me start feeling sorry for the monsters. Because it's like, damn, what if you had no control and you became a monster? And now you're a monster without even being, like, I don't know, like against your will, without your consent. You become a monster. But it sounds like there's a baby monster in her, and it goes, why did this happen? How could this have happened? It goes back maybe to the worms and Boyd. I don't know how that would work. It makes no sense because I can't remember the details of the worms. Was it Ellis that did the transfer, and then Ellis had sex with her and this, I don't even want to know how those worms got inside her. I don't know. But this episode was really good. I cannot wait for next week. Poor Fatima. Elgin, you are on notice. You creepy guy. You are on notice, buddy. And so are you, Henry. I guess everyone else is sort of on notice too, because technically we haven't seen them do anything bad. I just got to go with my gut and say, Tilly, I don't know. Let's see what happens when they try to bury Tilly. Or maybe they shouldn't bury her. See if she crumbles up as a monster. And if she was a victim, I'll stand by that and say, hey, Tilly did nothing wrong. She was just a victim this whole time. But great episode. Cannot wait for the next one. I'm sure we have 2 more episodes left if it's following the trend of 10 episodes a season. I can't wait. If you guys want to be part of the pod, send your feedback in, host@theverdictsin.com, or you can write us in on facebook.com/verdictsin or Twitter @theverdictsin. Wherever you get your podcast or wherever you find us online. Until then, I'm Nicole. Have a good one.